Welcome to Judgment Engine. We give you our opinions.
And today we're going over WandaVision episode 3. Just 3.
Yes, just three. We'll have our usual quick review, and then we'll go ahead and get into more spoilerific discussion in just a second. So, what'd you think, Jared?
Um, this show has managed to hit the perfect sweet spot of being um, both too fast and too slow. So it doesn't please anyone.
It's unkillable. It's right at the point where you need to keep watching because they're revealing things, but you don't want to.
It's
it's
dicey.
found, yeah, it's found that balance. I thought this one at least moved us along. I appreciate that. I appreciate that there's forward motion. There's less time spent on hijinks and more time spent on wijinks.
Sure, sure.
It's not a great balance, but it's at least moving. So I think it's fine for now. It's fine.
Uh, I think WandaVision in its current state is kind of equivalent to like a mall um, sort of small train ride for children where it's definitely going faster, but it's not going it's not really going anywhere important, I guess. It's just kind of I feel like we've been kind of looping around for 3 episodes.
Right. Despite the elements that could be cool, it doesn't seem like it's trending towards greatness. Not yet, but
Sure.
we'll see. Maybe it'll bring it home. All right, so let's get into the more spoilerific discussion here, where we kind of dig through what happened. I mean, there weren't a lot of beats here, even though in any other show there would be huge beats. But Wanda is suddenly pregnant, and then she suddenly has twins within the space of about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, there are a few things that were kind of weird, like she sort of rewinds time on Vision. Well, someone does. Maybe it wasn't her, but it seemed like it was her when he sort of realizes there's something weird going on in the town. And then we have the big moment at the end where she casts the sword agent out of the town. And we realize that the town is ensconced in this TV field or what have you.
hmm
Uh, so that's sort of like I mean, that's a lot more than we got in the first 2 episodes, right? Now we kind of have a structure.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's yeah. So I think um in its kind of pursuit to kind of dip into these sort of like nostalgic, old feeling TV shows, I feel like it's kind of missed out on um, parts of the reason as to like why people cared about these nostalgic TV shows. Like this, like this Wanda pregnancy episode could have been like a whole season's worth of some old TV show, right? But they
Yeah.
compressed it. But like by doing that, like you miss out on all of like the fun and interesting things or like the all really sweet moments and whatever that happens, right? And
hmm
like you completely you're just running through the plot at that point, right? And I kind of alluded to this with like it's going too fast and it's going too slow sort of thing. Like it's going too slow on the sense of like the entire sort of like WandaVision season plot, but it's going too fast within like the individual sort of like TV season kind of trope things that they're shoving in because they're running through it so quickly that like it doesn't matter. Like
It doesn't register.
yeah, like even though she was like pregnant for like the whole episode or whatever, right? She could have immediately had the baby within the first 2 seconds. And like I don't think it would have changed anything for me. I don't think anything that happened in between there was like interesting between like her talking to like the neighbor or the doctor or anything.
Yeah, I really agree. I think that everything they've done has been sort of in the service of their concept, which is this fake, TV set, and you're supposed to see
hmm
the ends of the set. You're supposed to see into the background, and because everything's in service of that concept, they're not actually doing a faithful replication of their parodies or their, homages or anything like that. They're
Yeah,
not they're not getting close to the actual material.
I think that's a
Although
much nicer way
to be fair, those shows weren't that funny. I don't think TV really got funny until the 90s with The Simpsons and Seinfeld when it got a little more complex. But it was at least more complex than this. This show is like, it gives you nothing. There's no layers, there's no relationships. There's no will they, won't they. It's just these two exist here
Yeah, yeah.
as far as the TV layer.
I guess I wasn't so much critiquing the idea that like, oh, like it wasn't funny. Like sure the shows like were
Mhm.
funny, but I think a big part of these old shows is that they're kind of like a cozy place to kind of like live in for a little bit. And
Yeah,
there's no, like you said, there's no depth here. So there's nowhere to live. It's just like flat. It's a flat, just vast space of nothing that there's.
we're just all we have is the brick wall waiting for the Kool-Aid man to burst through. That's and we just have the brick wall. And it's like I know the Kool-Aid man's on the other side. I can hear him clinking around over there.
Oh, the Kool-Aid man and his clogs just dancing up a storm behind the wall.
Yeah. But okay. So, we're going to move away from the homage, or maybe we'll be more aggressive now that their cards are on the table a little more. Do you have any thoughts as to these particular cards that are being played here? It does look like Wanda might be the main aggressor in this situation, as far as we know right now.
I I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty. I don't know what's going on. I know they have their little like military base thing kind of teased at the end, and that somehow like the neighbors are like kind of like in on it. I don't know who's responsible or like what's going on really. Um,
Hmm.
and to be honest, I just want something to happen, right? Like I just want
Yeah.
to see that like like Wanda's like encased in some laboratory and this is all happening in her mind, or like I want to see some hint of like a bad guy who like knows a plan or whatever. That's what I want. I just want like a little. I just want a little bit.
What it looks like to me, and I think we will get more of these clues now as we're going on. If they're going to reveal so much, I don't think they'll pull back. That would be frustrating if they did. But what it looks like to me is, at least at some level, Wanda is in control of both the membership of the town and the reality of the town. Even though we don't know why she's doing it, right? That's sort of the empty question: is she just doing it to resurrect Vision and keep him as a this perfect life that she wanted, or is it something else? This goes back to the sitcom issue. Even if you go from the movies, we don't have much information about Wanda and Vision.
Yeah,
Almost nothing about their life together or whatever. So we don't know what like was this the one? Was Vision the one? I mean, I know she was sad, but I don't really know if he was the one,
my
right?
favorite part about that is that they specifically brought up her brother who like died in
Mhm.
Age of Ultron, which I would argue is one of the least liked and like least cared about of the Marvel movies. And I'm like, wow, like if you're using that as like your big emotional beat as to like why, people care, why she cares, I'm like, this is rough that this is the best you got.
Yeah, not a good idea to pull up Avengers 2 as the heartstrings connection.
Yeah,
Like, remember Avengers 2? Like, oh, I do now.
I didn't
Now that
want
you,
to.
why'd you bring that up? Yeah. But assuming it is this tack that she is in control in some aspect, I think that does bring up a couple interesting ideas. One, this sort of goes back to Civil War and the sort of regulation of superpowered people.
Mhm.
And like she is kind of like a worst case scenario. She's like a bomb. Same with Marvel. We know Marvel's on our side, but if she's not, she can punch a hole in the planet,
Sure,
right?
sure, that
I
seems
assume
pretty
she has a
good.
little bit. Wanda's like the same kind of class, and now we're sort of getting a like if she has like some aspect of mental illness or anything like that could lead to a situation like this where literally there's nothing anyone can do. Like as much as we celebrate superheroes and actualization, like there's also a fascist undercurrent of that, and this is sort of the what happens when you choose not to regulate it, right? Because that was sort of the story of Civil War a little bit. Is regulation is bad, and whatever.
If they go this route where it's actually about Wanda, how she's kind of like a ticking time bomb, do you think this is a better iteration of Dark Phoenix than Dark Phoenix? To kind of
Yeah,
cross
I
to
mean
kind of cross our hero streams a little bit.
that's so easy to do though. You
I
could you could have like a high school principal mad with power, and I'd be like, this is a better Dark Phoenix.
I just thought I'd bring it up just for fun.
Yeah, no, always good to kick Dark Phoenix in the nuts. Either one. We could be talking about either X-Men movie because they're both terrible. Uh, Claremont Run's good, of course.
Um,
Hmm.
I I I guess what I'm most curious about is, do you feel like you have a good read on the direction that this is going, or do you still feel like you're kind of lost in the dark and kind of feeling your way through?
For me, it's definitely crystallizing now as far as heading in this House of M direction, where it does seem like she's going wild, and the main problem will be realization. And that is, I have one final point, which is the relationship between her and Vision. I think has an interesting dynamic now because she is intentionally keeping him in the dark. It's kind of like a white lie, right? It's like,
Hmm.
or maybe not a white lie, but like if you're cheating on your spouse, right, and you didn't want to tell them or something like that.
I feel
It's
like
that
you
level of like,
I feel like you upped the lie level a little bit, but yeah.
yeah, let's go right to Burgundy, Burgundy code lie. Uh, these kind of things you might do because you think that your happiness will be better in the long run. And of course, it's a question of, is that even like something like this idea of reality we talked about before? Lying is another level of reality, and she can actually mind wipe you. So, it's a little bit different. But if there's something as horrible as like, hey, listen, outside of reality, you're dead. Do you really want to learn the truth? Should the truth always come out?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll see.
I'm still in it for episode 4. It hasn't lost me yet.
Okay.
Um, I'm still trying. I'm not super convinced, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that 4 will really kick things off. Any sort of concluding remarks from you?
I'm hoping as we update the parodies, we get closer to TV shows that the writers have actually watched, and maybe it will become a little closer. Like the Family Matters parody might be like right on the money.
I'm looking
We'll
forward to that WandaVision Lost episode where they just don't
see.
explain anything. It'll be so good.
Right.
All right, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Um,
That's it.
this has been Judgment Engine episode on WandaVision, episode 3. Stay tuned for episode 4.